Welcome to Outside of the Box. You're here with your three launch consultants today, Rachel Stanley, Christy Bauer, and Tim Zion. We're going to take 3 of your questions, answer them for you. Here we go.
Out of the box.
What are some tips on how to keep people trained after launch?
I'll start. I think it's a great idea. Often we talk so much about training your group leaders and then participants of groups before you launch, but it needs to become part of your strategy after your launch. So it's a great question. So one way is, an easy way, is to start just adding simple city tips to your church group. One of the churches that is on the city even created a city girl persona that posts city tips every week that we love. And so it's just a quick, simple way, like kind of a, did you know you can do this on the city, to keep people engaged.
Yeah, with the city as your primary communication tool, it should definitely be, any new hires should be part of a job description, that they at least know how to use it. I mean, if they're going to be communicating to the church, they need to know how to use the tool.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Next.
I have a 1-hour training scheduled with our group leaders prior to launch. What are the best things to cover?
Wow.
I typically start out with the vision of the city, sort of what the city is and why you want to use it as a church. So really that kind of falls in line with casting vision for your church as a whole and how the city come alongside you and enables that. And then what I do is just start out with a basic overview of the city, pull it up on the screen, let them look at it, let them ask questions. You know, we have printed materials you can give them. And then when they leave, I always make sure they know what their next 3 steps are, which is typically, accept your invite if you haven't, go ahead and fill out your account settings, and then go into the group that's been created for you and complete all of your group settings, which includes creating content.
Do you recommend that churches invite their leaders onto the city before the meeting?
Good question.
Ms. Bauer.
I do.
Rachel?
Yeah, I normally suggest that they invite them into a group leader group on the city, and so they can get on, fill out their account settings, start poking around, kind of come ready with some questions, instead of just, otherwise you're going to spend some of your time making sure they're on and getting the invitations and troubleshooting instead of diving right in. What about you?
I don't.
Why, Tim?
Please.
The reason I don't is, one of the key things about inviting someone into the city is they need to expect it and know what it is, to an extent. They need to at least know that it's coming. And a lot of times, a lot of that lost in confusion is, do they know what it is and they just got something from the city with an active hyperlink? Are they going to click on it? And so I think that the good thing is there should be diversity because the people we're training are diverse. So yeah, I mean, it really does depend on who you're training, how technologically savvy they are, and then also, what you want to communicate to them beforehand. So, but I agree that no matter what, during that time, you can't spend the time making sure invites are through and stuff like that. That either has to be before completely or after completely. So, fun times. All right, you can grab it.
Can I track new visitors who aren't on the city?
Can you track new visitors who aren't on the city? Wow, that's a tough one. Nah, man, not really. There isn't. I mean,
you could add them as an offline.
Technically, you
user.
can. So if they come in through a Connect kiosk.
I'm sorry, the middle of your sentence, Christy, interrupted at the beginning of hers.
She likes it.
Was there something you
Well, so my initial thought was, if you're just tracking first-time visitors and you get their information from a Connect card or something, you can enter them as an offline user and have a custom field that just says first-time visitor, but then at some point you need to uncheck that box. So
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking for an aggregate number, there's not a good way to go, okay, there were 4 new ones and 3 new ones, so they do have to be individual records.
Right.
What were you going to say, Christy?
I mean, if you're using a Connect group, you can walk them through all of the stages of your Connect group without them ever accepting a city invite, which, you know, if they accept an invite, they're an online user. If they don't ever accept their invite, they're an offline user. Or if they never received an invite, but you put their information in, they're an offline user. So technically, you could track them through stages, you know, and see how many offline users you have, when, you know, when they got invited, things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a solution. Yeah, and then when they want to get involved, you can then invite them, and all their information's there. So I guess the recap is, if you can capture their information, that's going to be important. You know, more than say first and last name, because you have to have some way to contact them. Because even if you put them as an offline user, you still need a phone number or something to be able to walk with them. So some type of contact information. Connect groups are a great way to be able to do it. And I mean, that's pretty much your bread and butter, right?
Yeah. So to clarify, you can add an offline user to a Connect group without them ever even receiving an invitation.
Yeah.
So.
Nailed it. That's the way to do it. Well, thank you for giving us a bunch of questions, and hopefully the answers were helpful. Go ahead and comment on this post and let us know any other questions you might have. We do check our Twitter feed and Facebook, so ask questions there as well. Heart this post, and hopefully it was helpful for you. Thank you from Seattle, and we will put out another video next month.
Welcome to Outside the Box.
Oh, was that
He was counting.
I was counting it down.
Go to.
No. Oh my gosh.
Outside the box.
So wait, what am I
We
saying?
are
Welcome?
outside of the box.
We are.
Get it?
Because we are
And then
literally
we
outside
think.
of the box.
We want to think outside of the box.
Everybody
Tweet.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking anymore. Yes.
Welcome to Outside of the Box. Today.